Good evening, everybody. This is Jeff from Charting Horse Value. Welcome to our weekly broadcast we've been doing. Every week I have a different guest. And today I've got the privilege of having Matthew from, Failed to Menace, I think is your Twitter handle.
That's right. My favorite horse racing note, failed to menace. It always makes me laugh.
Failed to Menace, yes. Yeah. So tell me a little bit. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to people who may not know you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Matthew DeSantis. I have a horse racing podcast and YouTube show called The Win Place Show. I typically do graded stakes previews every Friday. Those will come out Friday mornings. And then I also have podcast episodes recapping the weekend on Monday. I like to hold myself accountable. So I go over what I got right, what I got wrong from the previous weekend. And then I also do, horse racing news, kind of weekly horse racing news podcast, just to keep people up to date with what's going on. So something I just really enjoy, love horse racing, and just really thrilled to be here and to help out and to handicap some good races at Fairgrounds today.
Yeah, I'm excited. So every week I do a different guest. I usually do a different track too. And this will be my first time doing Fairgrounds.
Same here.
And I picked it because, although I don't think it's a great card, but I picked it because there was only 3 maiden races. It's nice to get a break from the maidens.
It is.
And there's actually turf racing in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't want to touch that Tappeta stuff at Gulfstream. So,
I don't blame you.
Yeah. Anyway, although I did well there. I was in a tournament. I've been dabbling in tournaments lately. Normally I'm a straight win, maybe some serial bets, handicapper, but I started, my friend says, you got to try to get into the Breeders' Cup betting challenge. Okay. Yeah. So this week I tried. This is my first time I've ever tried this.
Yeah.
I entered a tournament on Monday and I took like, I don't know, third or something like that. I got my money back. Okay. 1 out of every 10 people gets in. If there's more than 10 people, they give a few people their money back.
Okay.
Second day I entered and I got what's called the stink hole. Okay. This is where you're the highest position you could be without getting your money back.
Oh, the worst. Yeah.
And then third day, so I lost $56. My third day, I won. I won the tournament. It was at Gulfstream.
Okay.
And now I'm in the $500 tournament this weekend. I'm going to be working hard. Yeah. I want to win this on my first try. Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's a 1 out of 20 chance is what I got.
That's not bad.
Not bad. 1 out of 20 chance for a $10,000 ticket.
Yeah. No, that's a really good deal, actually. That's good odds.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good about it. I'm going to keep plugging away.
Yep.
I wanted to, before we get into the card, I wanted to briefly show my website. Can you see that?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So this is the website, and you got today's charts. So like for tomorrow, Friday, I got 12 charts up, covering Aqueduct, Gulfstream, Oaklawn, Fairgrounds, everybody. This is past charts where I've got like a week of old charts. You can look through anytime. My tutorial, how to work my site, watch videos, read about that. I got blogs. I've got racing news. I got all my stuff I did for the Breeders' Cup, Triple Crown, some success stories. I got a YouTube video page. You can link to that. You can read a little bit about me here in the bottom, and then free charts. So on my free charts, you've got download Fairgrounds 12/17/21, which takes you to this right to this sheet here. And you can follow along. So if you're following along right now, pull that chart up, and you'll see, because I primarily handicap off of my chart. Okay. And in fact, on the Gulfstream day that I won that tournament, 100% of the chart, didn't look at a past performance at all. Mm-hmm. So the chart helps me figure out who the likely winners are and where there might be some good long shots, some value, etc. All right. So anyway, we're going to get into the card now. And we're going to start with race 1. Yep. So Matthew, why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yeah. So race 1's a $25,000 claimer, mile on turf for fillies and mares. Interestingly enough, turf routes at Fairgrounds have been very good to closers. the interesting part here is that the problem, to some extent, is that the favorite, Stroll in the Bayou, is coming off a 4-month layoff and had a vet scratch leading up to that, in addition to that 4-month layoff. So otherwise fits the profile of a closer, but those things are just kind of big red flags for me. I actually really like the coupled entry here. I think Good Magnolia is going to be that early speed. And I think Embarrassing at 3-1 is going to be the logical horse to be in kind of a stalking position and should make a run there. So I really like Embarrassing quite a bit. I think their running styles complement each other well. That's something I like to see actually with coupled entries a lot of times is, if they both are the same type of horse, I've always kind of scratched my head. I'm never quite sure what to do, but it's nice to see one as a front runner, another as a stalker closer. So I think that works out nicely. And it's interesting. Underneath that, I think, Champagne Horizon's a 4-1 horse that it just doesn't look like the same horse from 2020. And this horse has regressed a little bit this year. So at those odds, I didn't necessarily love it. And so I'm kind of looking at Lagum or Lagum or Lagum, however you want to pronounce it, at 5-1, taking a slight step down in class. The only problem here is horse doesn't typically pass other horses, like just kind of stays where it is around the track. Doesn't have a great turn of foot. So I think underneath, I'm not kind of overwhelmed by anyone, but I do really like Embarrassing, the 1A up top here. And then I might even kind of put a couple dollars on a horse like Quinn Murphy going at 5-1, stepping up in competition, certainly. But I think there are some question marks that I have with some of the other horses in the field, and I don't hate that horse particularly, but that would be kind of an underneath thing. So that's kind of where I'm looking a little bit in this particular race.
Okay. Let me go ahead and show my chart. You hit on all the high points there. So I'm totally in agreement with you on Strolling in the Bay. Now, Strolling in the Bay is on top of my chart, but it's still only gets a weak beat. Okay. Yeah. And the concern I have with him is this, like you said, 4-month layoff and a significant break in training from November 2nd to November 24th. And then even after the 24th, it took 2 more weeks for him to get back to the track. So, very concerned with that. I'm going to go with Lagum. If you look at my chart here, he gets I'm struggling to find it here. Hold on. He gets the plus grade. Now, in my chart, I only give one horse a race, the plus grade. Okay. And he gets the plus grade and he gets $9 of value. Now, what I tell people when they first look at the sheet is to look at 3 things. Who's on top, obviously, Strolling in the Bay. Mm-hmm. Who gets the plus horse, okay, Lagum. And then who gets this 1 for the lowest PFDS odds? Mm-hmm. And that is Lagum. So Lagum has, in my opinion, the most likely chance of winning the race. It's a tough race. I mean, I understand Embarrassing. I can make a case for Champagne Horton. It's a tough race. I'm hoping that Lagum will drift up a little bit, and I'll get at least that 3-1. Persisto is a main track only; he'll be gone. So I think we're kind of on the same horse. My main horse is Lagum. Who's your main horse?
My main horse is going to be Embarrassing, but I think I usually kind of look at my top 3. Lagum's absolutely, it's kind of Lagum, Embarrassing, and then I might throw a shot at Quinn Murphy or something like that. But I think we're in agreement on the top 2 probably.
Well, Embarrassing gets these 3 1s in the rank column and gets this A grade. So Embarrassing is very strong.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So let's go on to race 2.
Yeah.
All right. Now, race 2. Go and tell me what race 2 is. You're faster at that.
Oh, yeah. $5,000 claimer, 1 mile on dirt.
So. Okay. So I remember looking at this race and hating every horse in the race. I mean, it's really lousy race.
I agree.
I think, and if you look at my PFDS odds, they range from 8.6, 5.3, 4.3, 4.2, 5.3, 7.7. So 6 horses between 4 and 8-1. All right. Yep. That tells you it's wide open. The favorite, Teal Bloss, is way down here, 4th in my chart. There's an A horse somehow gets ranked 5th in my chart. It's a wide open race. So you
Yes.
want to take a price. You do not want to be on any of the chalk. And I don't really like this horse that much, but I'm going to go with My Guitar. At least making second start off the layoff. Maybe we'll improve, and improves on PFDS to best odds. So the second column is best odds. That's where I isolate on a single race that might be more ideal for the horse. And this horse is eligible to improve. And if he improves, he represents huge value compared to an 8-1 morning line. And that's what gets us $27 of value here. Yep. So I'm going to go My Guitar. It's a weak selection. Who do you like?
Yeah, it's interesting. That's My Guitar is absolutely a horse that I looked at as well. I had very similar feelings to you about this race. So I think that, and here's an important thing to point out. My Guitar is one of the only pure dirt horses in a dirt race. A lot of these other horses are turf horses that are running on dirt and have not run well on dirt. So, at the value at 8-1, call me crazy for liking a dirt horse in a dirt race, but it makes sense. Yeah. The other horse that I saw you did get the A rating and does have a little bit of value is Upham. And that's, I think, a good horse as well that provides some value, has run very well in comparable races. Is actually dropping down in class a little bit. Had been running kind of $12,500 claimers, and so stepping down a little bit. Should be near the lead. So running style, I think, fits pretty well for what this particular race has. But yeah, I'm kind of, so that's my pick up top is Upham, but I have My Guitar second, and then I have Teoblos, who's the favorite, I think probably third. It's the best speed in the race, but again, this is a turf horse, so how it's going to run on dirt, I'm not really sure. We'll just have to see. And I don't know if his running style necessarily sets up particularly well for this race, but this is another one wide open. Get yourself a price and, maybe hold your nose for the next race. But yeah.
Well, I hope I get My Guitar here because he'll set the day up pretty well. All right. I'm going to give you the honors for race 3. We get a whopping 5 horses in this one. Who do you like?
Well, I thought I was at Del Mar for a second, 5-horse stakes race or something like that, but yeah, so this is a $20,000 allowance, 1 mile on dirt. And this is, again, a race that has horses with some mixed dirt and turf experience. So that's something else to kind of take into consideration. I think the 2 favorites are kind of where you have to go a little bit in this. I think Gianna's Gift and Malibu Moyer both look really strong. Gianna's Gift is a horse that, good workouts on the dirt. And again, is a pure dirt horse. So that's something that I just kind of put a value on. Should be near the lead as well. I think that's tends to do well in these, dirt route races at Fairgrounds. You want to be in a little bit of a stalking position. So Malibu Moyer, I'm a little bit more worried about at 9-5, the stepping up in class a little bit. But did win on dirt. And so I think there's something there. I'm not necessarily in love with Magical Peapod, the 7-2 horse, although should be in a stalking position. Not really good stats with the new trainer, so I'm a little worried about that. And then the horse I keep coming back to that I probably like underneath is a horse like Sweet Blindness at 5-1. I don't know, just he seems to like the distance a lot. And the surface, and is coming back after a 6-month layoff. Typically, that's a huge red flag for me. But again, 5-horse field, there's not a lot of value to be had, but that underneath that might present some. So Gianna's Gift and Malibu Moyer are kind of 1-2 in my book.
Yeah, I think if you're playing serial wagers, you're going to have to pick one of them. You can't use both. I do think that if you're playing verticals, your horse, Sweet Blindness, makes a ton of sense. So my chart here. Gianna's Gift is on top. They both get an A+, because there's no value, and they both got an A grade, and they fit all my other criteria. So basically, it's a tie. Okay, but Gianna's Gift is faster on my energy rating, which is this column here. All right, so energy is basically kind of a speed rating. Is my proprietary one, and the horse has a little bit more speed, and is E7. Fairgrounds, I think, has been playing pretty kind of speed horses right now. He does have some speed to run with them, though.
Yep.
The 1 horse and the 4 horse both could run with him, could tire him out and set up for the 5. I think Sweet Blindness is interesting off the 5-month layoff. You got a good trainer and jockey on board. That's what these 2 ratings are.
Yep.
And the horse improves from 11 to 3.8 to 1. So there's a chance this horse, could fire. And that's why he gets a little $5 of value. I think that's the value horse underneath. And I'm going to take Gianna's Gift on top.
Yep.
All right, race 4. Interesting race. First of all, a horse in this race gets the K grade. You're going to see a bunch of K grades coming in the next few races. It's when a horse gets a dominant percentage of these ranks of 1. So I ranked the horses in 5 different ways, and this horse ranked first no matter which way I looked at it. The only thing about this horse is he's coming off a 5-day layoff.
Yep.
Okay. But, but if you look at this trainer is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Best trainer in the race gets the 9, and all the angles on this trainer look phenomenal. Okay. So I think the trainer knows his horse and is wheeling him back to get a victory. E8, best early speed in the race of 101. Horse should be loping up front, galloping, and pull away from the rest. Unfortunately, I got to take the chalk here. Who do you got, Matthew?
Yeah, so the Mangelson up top is, I saw that as well, the 5-day layoff, and I'm like, well, that's because you're right. Like from just a pure metric standpoint, I think that's absolutely the best horse in the field. I'm just worried about that short of a layoff, and so I just don't know how the horse is going to respond. And so that's why I was kind of looking elsewhere, and I was actually looking at the coupled entry, who I see both have the kind of the C grade, picking roses and sharpened up, and I think those are the kind of the next 2 logical choices underneath outside of Mangelson. So that's kind of where I was looking, just because I was, again, that short layoff. Again, I agreed about the trainer, but still, I just worry. And I don't know if maybe this horse might even be a gate, a scratch or something like that, depending on things. So that's why I was kind of trying to look elsewhere. But I think ultimately I have picking roses kind of to win in that position, and then sharpened up. These are 2 interesting. This is a coupled entry that both have a very, very similar style. So they both kind of like to sit off the pace a little bit and then make a run. So we'll see. And then I think a horse that's, I don't know, interesting is Tiger Beach at 10 to 1. If you're trying to find value in this particular race, this horse seems to have taken to the turf pretty well recently, and is always in the mix. Again, if you're making kind of, exotic bets, that's something to keep in mind, maybe a little bit of value underneath, because again, that coupled entry is going off at 7 to 5. So you're not getting a ton of value, even if you go, I don't trust this other horse on a 5-day layoff. So that's kind of where I am.
Yeah. I'm pretty confident in this 7. I have to tell you, I really think that 7's going to blow this field away.
I hope so. What a horse! I mean, if he could do it on 5 days rest, good for him. I
have a feeling. I have a feeling the trainer's got a monster there, but we'll see. Yeah. And if I'm playing any serials, I'm singling that horse. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's go to race 5. I'll give you the honors.
Yeah, so race 5's a $15,000 claimer, 6 furlongs on dirt for fillies and mares.
Nice.
Early speed would seem to be the key here, and something to keep in mind that closers are not doing particularly well in dirt sprints, not surprisingly, probably. Interestingly enough, though, post position doesn't appear to be quite as important at Fairgrounds as in some places, so that outside post position is not a must, as it can sometimes be. The horse I really like up top is Seriously Sassy. 5 to 1 horse. That's probably, I think, the most intent on getting to the lead, is also cutting back in distance a little bit and class. And so it's getting a little bit of class relief. Basically wired the field in both of its claiming races. So just based upon past performance, that's why I kind of like this horse. You're getting a little bit of value at 5 to 1 as well. A lot of spunk is a horse that comes from off the pace, strong speed figures, very capable. Won 3 of its last 4. This is a slight step up in terms of a claimer. So those are kind of the 2 that I was looking at that kind of caught my eye right away. I think Princess Renee and Rockin' Sunday are interesting horses as well, but I'll just leave it at those 2 in case you want to mention others or kind of where your chart takes us.
Well, I hate taking chalk, but I can't, I don't know. I was going to look a little bit at this before I pulled the chart up, a little bit of this Bluebird song.
Oh yeah.
But shipping in from Louisiana Downs, couldn't win as odds-on favorite, and then the 8, of course, the 8 Halajori, again, was running down there at Delta, got crushed.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get away from this favorite. Let me go ahead and pull up the chart.
Yeah.
So I got to scroll down. Hold on.
Yeah.
So the favorite's on top. I mean, and the thing about my sheet is it tells you when a favorite is legitimate and it tells you when a favorite is vulnerable. Okay. And this one here is legitimate. Okay.
Yep.
85 energy is better than anyone else. Rockin' Sunday is close though at an 83.
Mm-hmm.
I can't touch that 5. And that horse has the 81, and everyone else is in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Best trainer, good jockey, really, in my opinion, just fits the race perfectly.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a lot of speed in the race. It's gonna be a tactical race.
Yeah.
Maybe your 3, your 6 will go to the lead. But your 6 has kind of been running longer distances, I think.
Right.
So there's really no guarantee that horse will. He did. Will he get the lead going sprinting? Maybe.
Yeah. He's at second, kind of stalking, kind of second in a sprint at Louisiana Downs. What is that? Like 5 races ago. So it's a shot. And I also I see how low your trainer jockey rating is for that particular horse, and I'm with you. I mean, that's what really kind of gives me a lot of pause with that one. And so that's. If I'm trying to chase value, that's where I'll go. But like you, I think a lot of spunk is tough to move off of.
Yeah, when you see the 3 and the 4, it's for the trainer jockey score. It's not good.
No. No.
So, I mean, it's so much below 9 and 7. I mean, it can happen. The horse is ranked pretty low on my sheet. It's got a shot, but I'm going to stick with the favorite, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. No.
All right, race 6. Now, the top horse on my sheet is gets the A+ grade and $14 of value, but that horse is a deep closer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really curious what your thoughts are in a minute, whether you think that horse can make the run and beat him. Then you got all these horses with 0.4, 0.5, 0.4, 0.4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horses, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Those are all basically horses trying the turf. Okay. Yep. And who knows what they're going to do. Okay.
Yeah.
So, one of them might freak. It might love the turf. And so that makes me really uncomfortable with the 1. The horses that I have, I think the 4 is interesting. Cool Runnings.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at my sheet here on this one. Cool Runnings is interesting. Just got claimed up to Sormo though. But gets Beskiza up, and that trainer combination and jockey is actually profitable, significantly profitable through 43 starts. Now, not going to go off a long price today, but that horse, of course, that horse is 0 for 14. And then the other horse I kind of like is the 7, Cartier Cat. Now, the 7 lost Unorthodox in his last race, but that was his first race of his life.
Yeah.
Okay. Unorthodox had 7 previous races. What am I saying? He actually finished ahead.
Yeah.
He finished ahead of Unorthodox. Is a longer price.
Yep.
And now that one was taken off the turf.
Yeah.
Now he's going to go back to the turf. He's bred by Animal Kingdom. Okay. Yep. Out of Tail of the Cat. This horse probably will like the turf better.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of leaning on, and by the way, now the trainer First on Grass is, 1 for 26.
Right.
That's not so good. So it's a really tough race, a race you can easily spread. What do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I think you could have come at this with a lot of ways. And interestingly enough, I think we largely are in agreement. So Unorthodox was my up top as well. I thought this was a horse that I think the last race out you can toss because he was on dirt, and so hasn't. What's interesting is he is a deep closer, has not run behind a ton of pace when you look at it in the past, but that's exactly what he's going to need. And I think Koufax potentially going out pretty quick and being the early speed will actually kind of play nicely for unorthodox. So I actually really like that quite a bit. And then I also like Cool Runnings. That was a horse that I thought looked pretty good. Turned in the best speed figure on turf at a mile. Trainer had a great winning percentage with maiden claimers as well, even though it was a small sample size. So there was a lot to like there. And then, Cartier Cat was, the only reason to think that unorthodox is going to be better is because, again, that race was supposed to be on turf, was taken off, and was run on dirt. And so unorthodox, maybe just really does not like running on dirt under any circumstances. And so you'd expect to see him improve. But Cartier Cat, I mean, that was an impressive. That's as good a maiden as anybody else in that race in terms of a maiden run. So if there's any sort of improvement there, absolutely, you have to consider taking this horse. So I do have unorthodox, but this is one where I would be going stone cold exactas and like unorthodox and Cartier Cat because I see those as the top two.
Yeah, I think so. If I went, you could go too deep, just those two. I'd probably throw Cool Runnings in there. If I went zero wager, I'd probably go 3 deep.
Yeah.
If you got a gigantic budget, this is a race you could go pretty deep on.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling unorthodox with the switch back to turf and Cartier Cat second time lifetime.
Yeah.
I think you're covered pretty well with those two. And then maybe think about Cool Runnings. But so I think we got a pretty good handle on that race.
Yeah. So moving on to the 7th race, we have a $32,000 maiden special weight, 6 furlongs on dirt. And I would like to say that I spend a lot of time, evaluating pedigrees and looking at all this deep stuff. But sometimes you just go, hey, it looks like Brad Cox has a monster in this race. And so you just kind of go, okay, and we're done handicapping. And so that's what I think Ice Baby is, going off at 5-2. This is just, ran again a really strong maiden and comes from off the pace. Pedigree is fantastic, dropping down in terms of the price of the maiden special weight as well. Cox wins 32% of maiden second starts. So there was just a whole lot to like there from Ice Baby. I do think Love of My Life is another horse that ran a decent buyer speed figure, first time out, and is again dropping down a little bit from a $76,000 maiden special weight to a 32. So you would expect to see a little bit better result. Ran behind Ice Baby that first time out, has been turning in nice workouts. And again, I think as a strong horse, it's tough to sometimes know with these, first time starters, what you're going to get. But I will say, I think the first time starter that struck out to me the most was She's Custom Made, the 4-horse going off at 12-1, Godolphin bred horse, great pedigree in terms of hard spun and Danzig, and Blue Cross Cat underneath. So that was something that just stuck out to me as a horse I might like to take a shot at underneath. But to me, this one starts and ends with Ice Baby.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on Ice Baby. And probably is the easy winner. I did think She's Custom Made was the best first time starter. But Godolphin dumps that horse for $17,000.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Yeah.
There's something obviously wrong with that horse.
Yeah.
But Deshaun Parker gets on board. The trainer is like a 17% trainer. He's 3 for 9 at the meet.
Yeah.
All his angles are like 15%, 14%, 17%. Together, Deshaun and Geiner win 50%. They've won 1 out of 2. Okay.
Yep.
So 12-1 is a really good price. In fact, if you were willing to play a long shot, he's probably playable around 8-1.
Yeah.
So I'll show my chart real quick. Let's see. I got to scroll down and get that done in advance. So Ice Baby's on top. That S0, okay, that might have been just, first race learnings. Okay.
Yeah.
Horse could break on top today and go wire to wire. You know, gets the K plus, but none of the first time starters look that good. And again, if I was gonna take a shot, I'm gonna try to take a price. Okay, I'm not gonna try to beat this horse with a 3-1 shot. You know, if I was gonna take a shot, I would probably take this. She's Custom maybe. So we were on the same first time starter.
Yeah.
All right, the next race, race 8. I had a tough time with this race. I came up with 3 horses. Obviously, Roman Poet sits on top of my sheet with the K plus grade. But I thought Big Boss Ben and Jesuit both made sense as well. The thing with Jesuit, let me look at the PP on that. So this horse is trying turf for the first time. Munnings out of a Warfront mare. I don't know if that's the greatest angle. However, the trainer is 21% first time grass. This is a 14% trainer. Okay, so that's a pretty significant 21% is solid.
Yeah.
He's also 25% second after a claim. So there were a lot of interesting things on Jesuit, I thought. But I kind of landed on Roman Poet, who tried a $200,000 stakes race. Was a little too much for him. But he seemed like the most logical horse. What about you?
Yeah, so this is one where sometimes like my heart can get in the way of other things, and so I saw Big Boss Ben run down at Colonial Downs back in August, and a sprint turf race, and I really liked that horse going into the race, and he didn't run particularly well. What's interesting is he's a horse that, and it should be pointed out, Colonial. I talked to Jessica Paquette before, who's the on-air analyst for Colonial Downs. And she always said, she goes, Colonial's turf is really funky, that it doesn't translate particularly well all the time, that it is one of those turf tracks that maybe a traditional turf horse doesn't like. And sometimes a bigger bodied horse does better on it because there's a little bit more undulation. So, sometimes I can toss those bad performances, or sometimes just ignore those really strong performances at Colonial because I go, especially if the horse is now running at a different track. So I really like Big Boss Ben. That was kind of my pick up top. I had Roman Poet underneath in second. Those are my 1-2. So I think we just kind of flip flopped, where we liked one and what we liked two. But I think those 2 horses really did stand out to me quite a bit. I like Silent Power. I know you have him 4th on the list. That was a horse that I thought it was worth taking a swing on. Never run on turf, but I like the pedigree. And again, I think this was a tough race. And so a horse like this that has a little bit of value for you. I like the jockey a lot, and should be a closer in a smaller field. So I thought there was maybe something there with Silent Power. So, but yeah, that's mine.
All right, so we're kind of on the same 2 short price horses, and we're liking Jesuit or Silent Power if you want to go a little longer price.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna switch back to you for the finale.
All right. Oh yeah, the grand finale. We're already there.
Yeah.
I just got done capping Gulfstream on Saturday, and so it was 11 races, and now it's only 9. This is great. So this is the 9th race, $10,000 maiden claiming 5.5 furlongs on dirt. And it's interesting.
Bottom of the barrel.
So my very first note that I wrote down was, we don't often see races with horses making debuts and other horses with 15 career starts, but here we are. And so in the same race. And so for this one, I went to Savannah's here. I went to the 4 horse, and this horse seems like a pretty good value. So run 3rd in 2 non-muddy races. That muddy race that was supposed to be on turf, taken off, and it was on the dirt, didn't run particularly well. Showed at least some decent competition there, even if the buyer speed figures are pretty low. But I thought at 6-1, that horse gave a little bit of value. And again, with these types of races, that's typically what I'm shooting for. And so the other one was Sweet Jackie Lee. That was a horse that kind of stuck out to me a little bit, although I think this horse might be better on turf, but has certainly run the best at this particular 5.5 furlong distance. So I thought maybe that was worth a shot. Ran a decent 5 furlong race that was on dirt that was supposed to be on turf several starts back at Evangeline Downs. So for me, like you said, you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit. So I'm going to go with Savannah's here as the horse that I like up top.
Okay. So here's my thought on this race. First of all, I'll show my chart in a second. Looking Hot is actually on top of the chart.
Mm-hmm.
0 for 15, 8
Yep.
times in the trifecta. Took second 3 of the last 4 races.
Yep.
This is a horse that just doesn't win. Okay.
I have him second. On my card.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
just doesn't win. I mean, he was odds on, couldn't win.
Yep.
And this is probably the best horse in the race that has already raced, in my opinion. Okay. And he really doesn't win. Okay. Now, I couldn't stand any of the horses that have raced. This is the only one that was halfway decent. He's 0 for 15. No way I'm taking that horse as a chalk.
Right.
So I was looking for a first-time starter. I'm really confident a first-time starter is going to win this race because the race is so bad.
Yeah.
I thought the 3 Stella Link was interesting.
Oh yeah.
At 8-1 with Raquelme and Joe Duhon. The works, he's got a lot of works. His 5 furlong works leave a little to be desired. Okay. So that landed me as my top pick on Brave Nugget.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. Now Brave Nugget is this trainer, Gene Pujol, who I've never heard of and has literally no stats whatsoever.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why is Raylu Gutierrez riding this horse?
Yep.
Trust me, I know Jose Santos Jr., I know Raylu. They're not riding this horse unless this horse has a shot. This is a crappy field. This horse, if you look at the works, has a 102 out of the gate and a 104 out of the gate. And the way back when, so this horse has some halfway decent gate works. And I'm going to show my chart now. And remember to scroll down. So Raylu Gut, so you see it here. This trainer's a -1 and the jockey is an 8. I wrote a whole blog on this. This is called the Overjocked Angle.
Yep.
And this horse, to me, is legit. Gets a 1 in PFDS odds. Now, this is a bizarre scenario where 3 horses, by the way, all first-time starters, all 8-1 odds, because I don't have any data on these horses. So I'm using placeholders.
Yep.
So all 3 of these first-time starters got 6.9 to 1s, okay, which is better than any horse that had run. That's why I'm all about the first-time starters in this race. In my opinion, you could take all 4 of them. Okay, there's 4 first-time starters. One of them's going to win. My top 2 are the 2 and the 3. And if I'm going to pick just one horse, I'm going to take the 2.
Yep. No arguments here. It's funny. I looked at that too, and then I saw 0 trainer stats, and I was like, I don't know how to interpret this. Like, because I also saw the same thing you did. Like Raylu was on it, and I was like, this can't be a joke of a horse. I mean, there's got to be something there. So, but yeah, the lack of trainer stats. I was like, wait, does nobody know this guy? Like, I almost needed to start Googling, and so
yeah, there's something going on there. Raylu's not getting on just any old horse there. Maybe who knows. But anyway, a lot of fun. By the way, I've been drinking a beer here. I'm going to show the can. This is what I was drinking. It's a DDH double dry hop IPA, and it's called O Negative. It was brewed with blood orange.
Oh, nice.
And a fantastic beer. You don't even taste the orange. It just gives a little extra bitterness, and a really good beer. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the card. I don't have anything else to add. You got anything else to add?
No, other than, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And look forward to having you on my show here in the near future as well.
I'll see you soon for that. And good luck to all the players out there. Have a great day. Win some bets. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you.